One. Ladies, gentlemen, I am Josh Samuel, and on the line with me, ladies and gentlemen, is Brother Fran. Brother Fran, how have you been, man?
I've been doing great. Pretty stressed the last couple of weeks, but I'm almost free now, so I'm doing pretty good.
Hallelujah, hallelujah. If you have not subscribed to the channel of mine or Fran, please do so at this time. All right, now moving on, Brother Fran, we're gonna get right into it now. Joker, a movie that you, I, and Jordan Ross have heavily discussed in multiple videos, not only became one of the highest grossing $1 billion movies, but it has made history in terms of awards and has gone on to garner 11 Oscar nominations, beating out Black Panther from last year. What's your thought on all this, man?
Well, I couldn't be happier that it got 11 nominations, so I could see. I mean, I'm obviously happy for the film itself because, in my opinion, it really deserves it.
Mm-hmm.
But to see people rage on Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
like I saw some of the of the worst takes I've ever seen in that site.
You and me
So, I
both.
mean, saying some things about the Joker, like, oh my god, how are you telling me that Joker is better than X movie, which is like a totally normal movie? It's not anything extremely good.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, oh my god, Joker, fuck Todd Phillips and this and that. He doesn't deserve being nominated for Best Director.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, okay, bro, whatever. Like, I'm extremely happy for the film. Like, to have such a controversial film to be the one that is most nominated, it's incredibly good.
So, yeah.
Because I was scared. I was like, shit, the Academy is going to play it safe and not nominate Joker for a lot of Oscars because of all the controversy and because they said that people were walking off screenings of the Joker for the Academy and things like that. But
Mm-hmm.
everything worked out in the end.
Yeah. Yeah, and just looking back at the film, I watched it a few days ago, and I was just really, again, enamored by it, man. It's really a very deep film, and I was reading a bunch of comments about the film, and one that stuck out to me is one that says something like, a lot of people, because it's the type of movie that it is, are missing the point of the film entirely. The point of the film is that we need to be a little bit more kind to each other. And I kind of glossed over it at the time, but I kept going back to it. I was like, damn, that's actually a pretty good point. And it also goes into the whole, all it takes is one bad day. And as we saw throughout the film, Arthur, like the little penguin guy said, Arthur had a multitude of bad days until he was finally.
He's Scottish or something like that.
I forgot, but yeah, he had multiple bad days
He's
until
like, Arthur.
Arthur. He had multiple bad days until he, was finally pushed to that edge and in fact became Joker like we know him. So to see Todd Phillips, touch on that and also touch on, disenfranchise how we view people with mental illness, even how we view people of color or minorities in America and in society, and how the rich, how they parade around and how they tend to, look at people that aren't on the same in the same tax bracket as them. Just the all around really, really, really good film from Todd Phillips. Great, fantastic performance from Joaquin Phoenix. Again, shout out Zazie Beetz as well. And yeah, I couldn't be happier. I really hope that it wins Best Actor, Best Director, and I really would like to see it win Best Picture just to see the reactions online. Like, I literally would pull a bag of popcorn just to see the reactions online if it won Best Picture. I didn't think it was as possible with Black Panther, but I do think it's certainly possible with Joker, and I really hope it does just to see people get pissed off even more.
Yeah, and what you said about what the film wanted to say, what things it should inspire.
Mm-hmm.
Like Todd Phillips said that he received an email from a person who had a mental illness,
Mm-hmm.
and then they said that the film made them like realize that we have to be kind to each other and that mental illnesses should be treated fairly, and like we should help these people.
Right.
And then you have the news sites telling that this is going to lead an incel revolution. Like, in which part of Joker do you see any incel behavior? Like, does he blame women for everything he doesn't get? Is he visually, sexually frustrated? Like, I don't get it. Like, he has some porno pictures on his book, on his diary, and that's it. He never says fuck women or oh my god, I'm not getting laid. There's nothing of that in the movie. So I don't know where the incel word fits in the Joker movie, really.
Right, dude.
I mean, I don't know.
It's crazy. Man, I just say, like I said a few weeks ago on Twitter, it's only merely because it's a DC film, and we'll talk about that a little bit later, but it's only because it's DC. If Joker had Marvel or the MCU on it, I guarantee you people will be saying, oh, this is going to bring more people to Jesus. Oh, more people are going to donate to the pastor on Sunday. I promise you there will not be this bad of a reaction like it has been being and it is being. But again, just because it's DC, people got to find some way or another to bitch. Continuing on with that, brother friend, I want to talk a little bit about another movie that's coming in a few weeks now. As expected, Film Twitter and others have voiced his or her worries about Birds of Prey being R-rated because R-rated superhero movies are quote unquote uncalled for. What's your thought on that? What's your thought on that, man?
Well, the best and easiest answer to that is an R-rated comic book movie just made $1 billion.
Yep.
So stop saying like, oh, no one wants an R-rated comic book film, or no one wants an all team up female movie. Hey, listen, if you've heard some of our last videos, like from the very beginning, you will know that I'm not like the biggest defender of this kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
But I've seen some stupid people on Twitter saying like, oh, so Harley Quinn just has to hit guys. Oh my god, fucking feminists. Is like, hey, yo, listen. You are reaching up to a point that is not even sane. Like, oh, who asked for a team up of females? Oh my god, this feminism is getting out of control. I'm not the biggest defender of that kind of stuff, but that's fucking stupid. It's just a movie about some girls from the DC universe.
Yeah.
That's it. Like what you said, there's some people saying, oh, no one wants R-rated movies. No one wants female superhero movies. It's like an R-rated movie just made $1 billion.
Yep.
Sadly, Captain Marvel made $1 billion, and the main lead is a woman. So I don't really know.
Oh,
yes,
man.
I said sadly, okay? That film is extremely boring, but whatever.
Oh Lord, bro.
It's true. I was so bored in the cinemas.
I tried, man. I tried.
Wonder Woman.
Yeah.
I mean, I've only tried it to see it once. Like I saw it once in the theater,
Mm-hmm.
I was so bored that I was like, I'm not seeing this movie again. The same thing that happened with The Last Jedi, really.
Mm-hmm.
Like I saw The Last Jedi on theaters,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, that's it.
Yeah.
No more. But Wonder Woman, it was a great movie. It made like $850 million or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there's a market for that. So stop saying there's no one wants that kind of movie when that kind of movie is making billions in the box office.
Yeah, exactly.
You may not want it, but stop saying, oh, we don't want it.
Yeah, there's no I in we and there's no E in I. So yeah, we ain't all like y'all. And I don't know if people know this, but Harley isn't exactly a PG character. I mean, sure, she's been in PG movies and PG-13 type situations, a la Suicide Squad or a la her, on video games, but Harley Quinn typically does some very dastardly and disturbing and wicked evil shit. So it can easily cross over, and she as a character can lend herself to being in an R-rated movie. There's nothing that's gonna stop her from being in an R-rated movie. The same goes for Black Mass. The same goes for Huntress. The same can go for Black Canary. And I don't know much about Cassandra Cain, but this whole notion or idea that comic book movies and superhero movies need to be strictly PG-13 is just silly. It's stupid. And I think that's again a result of the MCU, but we'll talk about that some other time. But yeah, some of the best R-rated movies are comic book movies, like a Logan, like a BVS Ultimate Edition, like a Watchmen, like 300, which I think is based on a graphic novel, like a Sin City. Going further back, like a Blade 2. There's tons of R-rated comic book stuff, movies that are great and good. And if you feel that uncomfortable watching it, then simply don't watch it. Don't worry about it. Don't talk about it. Watch your, safe MCU movies. And yeah, we'll move on from there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. People tend to focalize too much on what they don't like rather than what they enjoy.
Yes.
It's like, I may not like, I don't know, ballet, and I'm not going to watch ballet because I don't like it. So I'm not going to watch it, and I'm not going to waste time saying that I don't like it. I will watch, for example, soccer because I like soccer. That's it.
Right.
Like I don't understand the mentality to be all negative all the fucking time.
Yes.
Like, fuck this movie or fuck that and fuck this, and like tweet about things that you enjoy.
Exactly.
It's rather more beneficial for you rather than to be negative all day, saying that you hate all these kind of things. And I don't know. It's quite strange, because if you really don't care about something, you wouldn't mind it.
Exactly.
If you are all the time tweeting how much you hate it, then you do care, even if you don't want to admit it.
Yep. Yep. It's a strange world we live in, brother. We live in a society. Now
we do indeed live in a society.
Now, moving on, brother. I'm sure you heard about the CW. Oh no, I'm sure you heard about the CW. The little event that took place, in a big surprise. With Ezra Miller and Grant Gustin shaking hands in their respective Flash costumes. Now, we do know Andy Muschietti will be helming the Flash movie. I'm very excited for it. I'm very excited to see Andy Muschietti take on this film. I would like to see people say, "Oh, you're such a stan." I would like to see Zack Snyder helm it, since it's going to be Flashpoint, but that's just wishful thinking. But I do really enjoy Andy Muschietti as a director as well, and I'm again excited to see what he brings to the movie. Now, with that being said, I'm sure you've seen the reports that it is going to borrow some elements of Flashpoint, which has a multitude of characters in the storyline. What's your thought? Do you worry that that it might be too soon for Andy Muschietti to sort of do this sort of Flashpoint story with his movie?
Well, he said that it wasn't going to be the Flashpoint that we think it's going to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Maybe he adapts something of it. Maybe he does indeed time travel and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it doesn't necessarily have to erase the continuity or Snyder's continuity of the DCU.
Right.
Like, you can, like, I'm going to be honest. I haven't read the comic books, but I've seen the animated film.
Mm-hmm.
And in the film, yeah, he does indeed run back in time, save his mother, and then everything changes. But then he travels back in time again, and he lets his mother die, and everything becomes normal like it was. That's what I got from it. I'm not sure if that's like the definitive ending or something like that. But you can make that movie, have Thomas Wayne be Batman, Aquaman and Wonder Woman fighting and all that kind of stuff, and then at the end of the movie, like in the animated film, you can see Flash running back in time to keep the continuity as it is.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be a reboot.
Right.
I think that's what Andy Muschietti means, that he's not going to do Flashpoint in terms of, I'm going to reboot the whole DC universe. Maybe he's just going to take his story and take some elements from Flashpoint, like Reverse Flash and things like that, and that's it. Because we don't really know.
Right.
The DCU is moving forward with new tonal movies, and they haven't necessarily said, this is a completely reboot. Like Birds of Prey is an R-rated all-female movie, and it's set in the same universe as Suicide Squad, and Wonder Woman 84 is like an 80s movie, and it's in the same universe, so there's no need for a reboot. Right now you can do whatever the fuck you want. I mean, if the movie is good, you don't have to worry about continuity and things like that.
I got you. Now, let me talk a little bit about Batman, brother friend. Now, we know Robert Pattinson is going to be portraying Bruce Wayne / Batman. Robert is a very, 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 very talented actor. Post his Twilight movies, I again encourage people who don't believe me because of Twilight to watch any of his movies that came out after the Twilight saga ended, namely The Rover, The Lighthouse, Good Time, Remember Me, even Water for Elephants, if that's your type of thing. So I do know he's going to bring a very good performance. He also is going to star in Tenet this year as well. And the movie has a really, really star-studded cast with the likes of Jeffrey Wright, Zoe Kravitz, Paul Dano, Colin Farrell as Penguin, which was a surprise, but I hope he does, and I think he will do really good, and a host of others as well. Matt Reeves is directing the movie, and it's been a movie that's been through its own share of hell, for lack of better terms, because we sadly and very tragically lost Ben Affleck in the role, something that really, really stung at the time of the announcement, because most of us were looking forward to see him continue playing Batman because he's just that damn great. But I do know Robert Pattinson is going to bring it. I'm not particularly as worried about it, but I am kind of skeptical in a sense. With that all said, Fred, are your expectations high or modest for the Batman?
I mean, I totally trust on Matt Reeves,
Mm-hmm.
and I totally trust on Robert Pattinson as Batman, because I recently saw the Lighthouse, as you said, like he's been on a. I think I've said this before, like you said now. The moment that he got cast in Batman, I was like, okay, let's see some films, some of his most recent films, and I saw. Which one did I see? I saw Good Time, and then I saw The Lighthouse, and then I saw The Lighthouse on theaters like 2 days ago.
Mm-hmm.
And he's extremely good.
Yeah.
Like, there's no doubt that he can pull it off, no problem. And Matt Reeves has made some really, really good films, and I totally trust the whole cast. I totally trust Matt Reeves. I know that he's not going to deliver like an MCU movie. He's not going to be all fans and laughs. I know that he's going to take it seriously.
Right.
And with the recent Pattinson comments saying that, if you take a movie and you make it R-rated, you can do whatever the fuck you want with it. So, I mean, fingers crossed. Imagine if the Batman is R-rated, that would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, it would.
But I totally trust the movie, I totally trust the director, I totally trust the actors. I think that we can have something really special if they let him work. I mean, I don't understand the people saying like, oh, look at Pattinson, he's like so skinny, how can he be Batman? I mean, he's been working out lately, and if they are going for a more silent in the shadows kind of Batman. He doesn't need to be as big as Ben Affleck.
Mm-hmm.
He just needs to be lean and feeling the suit. That's it. He doesn't need to be like extremely big with extremely big muscles and things like that. As long as he's big in terms of being lean and in good shape, that's enough.
Yeah, completely.
Do you trust Matt Reeves? Because I've seen some people saying like, oh, if it's not the Ben Affleck script, I don't want that movie.
No, man, I trust Matt Reeves. I mean, we can go back to Cloverfield, but he made a movie I really enjoy, Let Me In, with Chloe Moretz. I really like that movie. And even going to the Apes films that he helmed with Dawn and War, I just know he's going to really deliver something special. And he described it like it was 2018 as being, very emotional, and it's going to be told squarely on Batman's shoulders. And, you know, in regards to Ben Affleck, I know I keep bringing him up because I'm still kind of torn that we won't get to see his film. But, I know Ben Affleck would have delivered something really special, especially with Deathstroke's involvement. Shout out to Joe M. But I trust Matt Reeves as a filmmaker as well. I know that he's just as capable, and he's going to deliver something good. And as long as it's taken to get the movie off the ground, and as much time as he's had to get the script and the story sort of right, then I just know that next summer we'll get something really special. And I guess we'll probably get the trailer like in October or something this year. As you say, fingers crossed. So, in short, Fran, yeah, I trust Matt Reeves. I trust him, and I believe that Matt Reeves, the Batman, is going to be a special movie. And we'll see in June of next year. Now, Fran, I want to talk to you a little bit, man. You've been on a tear on Twitter for the last couple of weeks, man. You've been posting a lot of upscale resolution clips of Batman v Superman. As I like to say it, or as I used to say in high school, you've been going hard in the paint, my brother. Now, what, not to put you on the spot, man, but
in the what? In the paint?
Yeah, it's a term, bro. It's a term. It's a cool term. Don't worry. What inspired you to do this, man?
Paint is like painting. Okay.
It's a cool term. I wouldn't be saying.
Well,
go ahead.
I don't know. I mean, okay. Yeah, I understand it's an expression. I've just never heard it before. That's what I was like. Okay, what does that mean? Well, I don't know. I mean, I always wanted to know how GIFs were made.
Mm-hmm.
So I started searching, and I started trying to make them on Adobe Premiere, which some people love and some smaller quantity of people seem to hate. Mm-hmm. I remember this guy when I posted one of the, like, I don't remember which scene from BBS. I made it 60 FPS and uploaded it to Twitter. Mm-hmm. And some guy was like, "Oh my God, you're such an idiot. This is a disgrace. You are taking Zack Snyder's work and making it this abomination. Cinema should never be 60 FPS and this and that." And I was like, "Yo, it's an edit." I was having fun. That's it. Like, it's not that serious. By that same logic, every time you edit a single frame from a movie, you're like disrespecting the director. It's called having fun. People, right. You should try it sometime. And then, so I always wanted to know how to make GIFs, and I started researching, and then I found out how to make them. I'm not going to give out those secrets. I'm a magician. A magician never gives out his secrets.
Right.
And then I started making them because I've been taking my finals this past couple of weeks. So every time that I wasn't studying, I was making GIFs because I don't know, I really enjoyed it. So I was 24/7 making GIFs. And I also have an IMAX version of BBS it's like an Ukrainian version or something like that, but it has the IMAX format.
Mm-hmm.
So it's incredible the quality of the GIFs that you can get. Like you can't make them more than 15 megabytes because if not, Twitter doesn't allow them to be uploaded.
Mm-hmm.
But what I do is I make them less resolution, and then I do some things that I'm not going to say, and then it looks like full-on 4K or whatever you wanna call it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and Twitter.
But it's not 4K like, oh yeah, this is 4K and this and that, and I'm like, no, it's not 4K. It's like 1000x 500 pixels, something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I've seen some people, in Twitter and it seems to be like really high resolution. And people seem to love them. I mean, I've gained like 150 followers in 2 weeks or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
which is great. And the ones that I also enjoy doing are the ones of Zack Snyder behind the scenes of the DCEU.
Mm-hmm.
Because some of them are so funny, like it's so out of context that it's so funny.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, I really appreciate everyone that says that they enjoy them and they're really good. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, they are really good. That's what I was going to mention too. Like Twitter is really, really loving what you do, and you know, friend, I feel like this once again needs to be repeated or reminded. But you know, you said that what was the name of the movie that you're doing these clips and gifts the most of, brother?
Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice Ultimate Edition IMAX version.
Mm-hmm. All right, now moving on, brother. Let's talk about we're gonna get a little spicy, and I know this is something I'm gonna give you the mic on, and I might chime in, but usually you had the best responses. What is your message to the individual that wants to get that wants to get reckless on social media?
Well, I mean, the message to the individual who wants to get extremely angry and toxic on social media is don't get fooled. Like, read the whole story, read the whole article,
Mm-hmm.
and don't go on a rampage streak just because someone said something that you didn't like. Like, if I see someone on Twitter say, oh, fuck the Snyder Cut, I don't even pay attention to it. I just keep scrolling. Like, I'm not going to convince that guy to change his mind. So, for example, I see someone saying something that I don't like in terms of politics or soccer or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, that is Twitter. In Twitter, you cannot talk like a reasonable person with anyone. So why should you waste your time? Someone says, oh, fuck Zack Snyder's movies. I'm not going to spend 30 minutes and 50 replies to him trying to convince him otherwise. I'm just going to go about my day and say how much I love his movies, and that's it. Like, I don't know, if you want to go on a toxic rampage and that makes you feel better, you should really seek help. And if you go in those kind of rampage and then you get angry or something like that, then you should really stop, because that is not healthy for your mental health.
Right.
I mean, that's like the simplest thing to do. If you see something that you don't like, don't pay attention to it. Just block that person or silence them, and that's it. Don't waste just your time. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, friend, as I repeatedly say, I have to check myself multiple times, and I've gotten in these heated debates before. I've done it. But I got to a point a long time ago, actually not that long ago, but it was kind of long ago, to where I told myself that this arguing and, you know, going to war online with an individual in a very, you know, volatile way does not benefit me. It's giving off the wrong energy, and it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, you should be putting your energy into something positive, into something that isn't volatile or hostile just because, as you say, somebody says something that you don't necessarily agree with. Sometimes the easiest thing to do, as you also just said, and as I've said, and as Jordan Ross has said, is to keep scrolling and stop bitching. In the words of 11 from Stranger Things. Shout out to 11 from Stranger Things. Not in the Drake way, though. But, the best thing to do... the best thing... the best... the best thing to do is to just, mind your business. Get on social media. You're going to see negativity. It's inevitable. It's inevitable. You're going to see something negative every now and then. Sometimes the best response is no response. Sometimes the best response is no response. Sometimes the best response is to just mind your own business. Because chances are you don't even follow that person. It's just a retweet or something that comes up in your timeline that somebody else is replying to or, going at somebody about. And here's the thing. I'm all for defending a movie, defending a filmmaker, or defending somebody. But there's a way that you do that doesn't necessarily mean you have to get, again, hostile, toxic, or volatile. And that's all I'll say in regards to that. Moving on, brother friend, we're going to keep it really spicy. What we just discussed, there was a website that posted some comments that Zachary Levi, aka Shazam, made about the Snyder Cut. Now, I instantly figured this out, but most people, unfortunately, were more focused on the headline itself than looking between the fine print. These comments were made months ago, months before the event that took place, as you said, on November 17th of 2019. Months before Zach posted that, is it real? Does it exist? Of course it does, with confirmation that there is the director's cut of Justice League. Now, I know people, are just, there's some people out there that are just looking to, hunt and sort of police, individuals that, apparently are or aren't for the Snyder Cut and, are out there trying to, go at anybody who dares say something, that they don't like. And a lot of people, there are some that are labeling the DC movies as CW soap operas and shit. And again, I see a lot of this shit, and I just typically mind my business for the most part. But I do feel like there's people that saw what we did on November 17, 2019. And what I'm about to say is going to get regurgitated and recopied later on down the line. That's fine. I like being number two. I feel like there's folks out there that are trying to actively divide and sabotage the movement because they saw what happened on November 17, 2019. And I feel like some of these people are probably, editors or writers on certain websites and blogs, such as the one that brought about this video. What's your thought on that, man?
Well, I mean, it has a really simple explanation. Zachary Levi didn't participate in any of Zack Snyder movies, so he doesn't know anything about the production of them. He hasn't crossovered or really talked to any of the actors that were in them, except for a few Instagram posts and comments.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets brought on. I think it was like right after Justice League came out or something like that. That's when Shazam started to film.
Mm-hmm.
So he's new to the studio. He just landed this role. He doesn't care about Justice League. It wasn't his movie, so he's like, okay, fine. And then someone asks for the Snyder Cut in a convention or something, and he just says what the studio was saying.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's not going to happen. And what what does he care? He's only talked to the studio, not to any of the actors. So what's the studio going to tell him? Oh yeah, we are going to secretly release it. We are currently negotiating with Zack Snyder. They're not going to say that to Zachary Levi. So I totally understand that he said those kind of things. And we must also say that we should blame the comicbook.com site, because we are in January 2020, and they took some October quote from Zachary Levi saying that it's not going to happen. And as you said, it was before November 17th.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that the best example to explain this is that, okay, I'm going to totally butcher his name. I don't even know his name. Like Black Manta, the actor from Black Manta and Watchmen. I'm sorry, I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't know the full name.
Mm-hmm.
And on November 17th, he said, I wasn't part of the OG DCU, but hey, listen, release the Snyder Cut. And he posted it.
Yeah.
And he didn't have anything to do with it. So you could say, oh, Zachary Levi, as you just said, Fran, Zachary Levi didn't have anything to do with, with the OG DCU with Snyder, and he said it doesn't exist, and now the Black Manta actor didn't have anything to do with the OG DCU, and he posted a hashtag. But you have to take in mind that him and Jason Momoa are kind of friends, and Jason Momoa is like the most vocal actor next to Ray Fisher in terms of publicly saying release the Snyder Cut. So of course they've talked about it, and of course Jason Momoa told him to say that the hashtag on that day.
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, because they talked, Zachary Levi doesn't talk to any of the OG actors. He only talks to the studio. He doesn't talk to Zack Snyder. He doesn't care if the Snyder Cut is released or not. So when you ask him, he's going to say what the studio told him. It doesn't exist, or it's not gonna happen. That's it. I don't see how this is hurting anybody. We know this movie is coming out, and it's probably going to be this year. Like, he took his fucking name and put it right above the Justice League logo.
Yeah.
It's going to happen. Like, you don't take registered logos like the Superman logo or the Wonder Woman logo or whatever, and put them in a hoodie on a t-shirt, and put your fucking name on top of the Justice League logo, and you're going to tell me that's not going to happen? You're going to tell me that he's not talking with Warner Brothers right now?
Yeah.
It's totally what's going to happen, and if this actor or whatever actor says it doesn't exist or it doesn't, whatever, it's like, we know it does. We don't care about it. Zack Snyder made a fucking post with the metallic boxes with the Zack Snyder Justice League 214 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. We shouldn't go. We should stay on our track. That's it. And I honestly think that this was like an honest or innocent mistake. He's just repeating what the studio told him. That's it. We shouldn't waste our time collectively harassing an actor just because he said that. It's like, okay, he doesn't want it. Who cares what you think? That's it, you know? If a guy on Twitter says he doesn't want the Snyder Cut, I'm not going to tweet him like, oh, you're so fucking stupid. Yes, you're going to want it. No, I'm going to let him be. Like, we were 900k people on one day asking for it, so I don't care whatever one or two guys say on Twitter or whatever.
Mm-hmm. And that's the energy I wish everyone would keep, but, it's not, sadly, not like that. And, as I said repeatedly, sometimes the best thing to do is just hashtag release the Snyder Cut and keep it moving. But, hopefully everybody, or more people at the very least, will catch on to that message and it'll find them in time. We're almost done, Fran. I want to go back to the Snyder Cut. I want you to have an opportunity to delve into this a bit more, I want to remind everyone personally why I fight for the Snyder Cut. First and foremost, I'm a fan of Zack Snyder. I'm a fan of Man of Steel, Batman v Superman. I'm a fan of his movies. He tragically lost his daughter Autumn. WB did some very horrendous and downright criminal things in regards to how they treated him and his Justice League movie, and the end result was just disgusting. And thankfully, this hashtag has carried on even to now, and it's inspired other hashtags and other individuals to not only step into the release the Snyder Cut movement, but also bring about more hashtags, as I've said. And yeah, I believe in artistic integrity, creative freedom, and studios allowing directors to do their thing with no restrictions. And at the end of the day, we just want to see justice for Zack Snyder, and I sincerely believe that there will be justice for Zack Snyder in the Justice League movie he made. With that being said, friend, remind people why you fight for the Snyder Cut, man?
Well, it's quite simple actually. I love Man of Steel.
Mm-hmm.
Each time I see it, I like it even more.
Mm-hmm.
I adore Batman v Superman. I adore Watchmen. I adore 300. And every time I watch those movies, I'm like, and I believe in cinema.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I mean, the whole situation. I'm going to do a quick summary. I mean, I watched BBS in theaters, watched it once, and I was like, okay, and forgot about it. Then on summer, I saw the Ultimate Edition, and I was like, oh shit, like I really enjoyed it. And then I started seeing the Justice League trailers, and I was like, oh shit, I'm really enjoying this. I love the colors and the aesthetic and everything. So I was so excited. Like each day, they were saying like, oh, on Friday we are releasing a new Justice League trailer. And I was every single day watching videos about theories and things that could happen and what were they gonna show. And when the trailer came, I saw like frame by frame analysis of the trailer, and I just watched them like 4 hours straight to watching those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
And then when I went to the cinema, I was like, what was that? At the beginning, I was like, okay, that wasn't that bad. And then I started to think about it, and then I started to go like, oh shit, oh shit. And then I learned what happened to Zack Snyder's daughter, and then we started to know the kind of things that went along behind the scenes, like the pressure he had, and then his daughter committed suicide, and now for that, and then they used that horrible thing that happened as an excuse to make him leave. Like we heard so many things that I don't really know what's real or not, but in
Right.
the end, I'm fighting for this movie because I want to see the end of the trilogy, and I want to see a man's movie that he worked so hard on released to the public.
Right.
Like just imagine working. It's not like the 6 months of filming and then 6 months of post production. That's a whole fucking year working on that movie. That's a lot of work. But
Mm-hmm.
the amount of effort in production of writing the script, I'm okay with that design. I'm going to cast these actors. I'm going to say this, and we're going to shoot there, and we are going to, like, the amount of work that goes into that, and then to see the budget, because it's not like they took that movie and made it shorter. No, it's this total disrespect.
Yeah.
Like, it's disrespectful. That movie is disrespectful.
Yeah.
Because one thing is to make it shorter, like BBS theatrical edition, and you're like, okay, fine, but it's disrespecting a directors and a human's being artistic freedom and work.
Yes.
Like changing the whole colors, the scenes that they added. Like I will put this as an example, but Flash falling on Wonder Woman's boobs.
Yes.
And then like I'm a big fan of justice, and hope is like the car keys. It's like, what? When you watch Man of Steel, everything's like so mature, and you can save them all, Carl, and this is what this symbol means. And in time, you will help them accomplish wonders. Like, the dialogue is so well written.
Yes.
And then you get to Justice League, which is like, oh, Steve Trevor did do that? It's like, okay, bro. Like, I'm fighting for this movie because I love Zack Snyder movies. I love him as a man. He's a really kind person who loves to interact with his fans, which is great.
Mm-hmm.
I love his filmography. I love Man of Steel. I adore BBS. I love the scores of both movies. I listen to those scores every single day when I'm going to college or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's what I wanted because it's the right thing to do. It's what's fair. And when you see an opportunity to make the world a little bit of a better place and make things a little bit more fair and just, you should really go for it and fight for it.
Yes. Yes. Say that last part again, brother.
It's like, I mean, it's not the same thing, but as Rorschach says, like, there's evil and there's good in this world, and evil must be punished. This is like the contrary thing. Like, there's just things in this world and there's unjust things in this world.
Mm-hmm.
And if someone gets an injustice done to them, it's not fair, and we should really hope and do something to change that. And we've been doing that, which is great.
Yes. Damn.
What do you think about it? Why do you fight for it?
Everything. Golly. You said everything, bro. But yeah, man, I Zack Snyder's movies, man, they're just different. He doesn't make movies like, and you said this, I said this. He doesn't just make movies; he makes cinema, and I think that's a big difference. Like and I keep bringing up this example, and it's not necessarily a diss to the Marvel movies, the MCU movies specifically, but because they have their purpose and people actually like it. But when I watch Man of Steel and when I watch a good portion of the MCU movies, I go back to a Man of Steel, I'm like, damn, that's cinema. I go back to a MCU movie and I usually am like, okay, that's a movie. It's either okay, good, or sometimes very good, and then I forget about it. With Man of Steel or BVS, or even going back so far as Watchmen, which Watchmen has aged very well, by the way, I'm usually in awe and I'm struck by the music, the themes, the performances, and he's so underrated as a filmmaker. And like you said, he's such a good man. He doesn't have to go out of his way to interact with the fans like he does, but he does it anyway because he genuinely cares about his fans and he wants his movies to be shown to the public as he shot them. And it's a horrible thing that WB allowed to happen in regards to the sabotage that went on behind the scenes, in regards to them allowing just a bastardization of his movie. And it's just sad, man. And I can't just sit by and not do nothing. As soon as I found out what really went on behind the scenes, and I'm sure we don't know complete everything, and we don't know what really is what. I just couldn't sit by and just say not do nothing and not let my opinion be heard. His movies inspired me to sort of get in the fight. I have trouble sometimes in my videos, even now, strewing together sentences because I'm trying to get so many thoughts out at once. But if I can reach one person, if I can inspire another person to join in the fight, stand up for what is good, spread the love and the courage and the unity and the power that Zack Snyder's movies and characters have, then again, it may not be a million like a PewDiePie, who I don't even think is still on YouTube. It may not be 100,000 like this other YouTuber. It may not even be 1,000 just yet. But if I can reach enough people and inspire them the way that Zack Snyder and his movies have inspired me, and that includes hashtagging releasing the Snyder Cut, and that includes, talking about his movies, then, at the very least, I feel like I'm doing the right thing. And that's all I'm really trying to do. And, that's only just part of the reason why, I want to fight for this movie, man.
Well, that's great. I mean, I think that we share a lot of things.
Yeah, for real, man. Now, finally, Fran, we're about to close, and I know this is gonna ruffle some feathers. What would you say Joker did as a movie that, for example, Avengers Endgame failed to do?
Okay. Where should I start? I mean, probably. I mean, the technical level, and I'm not talking about VFX, okay? Like the VFX in Endgame, they're really good and whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking things like cinematography. Like, I saw a tweet recently from a guy on Twitter saying like, "Oh, the cinematography of Avengers Endgame remains unmatched."
What?
Hey, listen, all I see on the third act of Endgame is like a big brown blurry thing, because there's no contrast. Everything is brown. Like, you don't see contrast anywhere. You don't know what the fuck you're seeing. You just see brown things moving and things like that. And then the second act kind of gets. I mean, it gets worse after the first viewing. And then the third act is like extremely long. The last part after the battle, I don't know. I think that Joker touched a side of us that we really didn't even think about.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I mean, you just really connect with Arthur. Like you when in the end he becomes the Joker, you're like, okay, I totally understand why this guy became the Joker, and I love the way he dances and the way he acts and things like that. In Endgame, you're like, I know that not everyone is dead. I know that everyone is going to be brought back. And then Iron Man died, and it's like, okay, that's really sad, and I was sad in the theater and this and that. But now they're saying that he's going to come back in Black Widow. And then Captain America is like extremely old, but it doesn't. I don't know. In my opinion, it doesn't feel like a really good farewell. I don't know. I just think that Joker is a far better movie. Like, the cinematography is amazing. The script is really well done. The editing is really good. The score is fucking amazing.
Mm-hmm.
The interpretation by Joker Phoenix is Oscar worthy. Like, there shouldn't be even a fucking. I mean, they should just give it to him.
Yeah.
Like, it belongs to him this year.
Yes.
He's extremely good in it. And I totally understand that some people didn't connect with Joker and connect better with Endgame. But I think that in every aspect of the movie, except for VFX, Joker is a better movie than Avengers Endgame. And I totally understand that if you really love Endgame, I think it's an okay movie. I really enjoy watching it, but that's it. Like, you cannot compare it to a character study and such a well done film as Joker.
Exactly. Yeah, it's this. Incidentally enough, for me, it's the same thing I kind of hinted at earlier when talking about Zack Snyder and the MCU. Again, the MCU movies, they serve their purpose and they're fine. I don't hate the MCU. A large portion of their fan base gets kind of sensitive when you dare critique their movies, but that's another topic. Joker is cinema. Avengers Endgame is just a movie. Joker touches on themes like mental illness, like the disenfranchisement of people of minorities and people who are perceived as different or not necessarily as wealthy as a Thomas Wayne. And it's like you said, it's a character study. Joaquin Phoenix really brought it home. And it's supposed, as a movie, I think it is supposed to make you feel uncomfortable at times. I think that was one of the things that Todd wanted, and it does make you feel uncomfortable at times, and it does go to show, as I said earlier, that all it takes is one bad day, or in Arthur's case, Arthur's case, it takes multiple bad days until finally he's had enough. And you know, like I said about that one comment that stuck out to me on the video about Joker, we do need to all be a little bit more kinder to each other. Just to people, because you never know what somebody is dealing with, you never know what somebody is going through, and you never know what a person is feeling if you're just beating on them, ragging on, like Arthur was being treated in the movie. You never know what a person is truly dealing with, and we all need to be kinder and not look down on somebody because they're different, whether that's race, whether that you perceive them to have a lower IQ, or whatever the case may be. If we all could treat each other more kinder, this world would be somewhat of a I say somewhat of a better place in certain regards. And Avengers Endgame, it served its purpose. It's a good movie. In terms of MCU movies, it's a good movie. It has some moments where it the spectacle shines, like the spectacle shines through, but it serves its purpose. That's all I say. It serves its purpose as concluding what started with Iron Man back in '08, and that's it. I really don't think it's even fair to compare the two. They're two totally different types of movies in terms of superhero movies. And yeah, Joker's gonna win regardless. With that all being said, ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the end of this video. I will leave a link to Fran's channel in the description. You guys go subscribe to his channel and follow him on Twitter because he's been on fire as well. We thank you all so much once again for tuning in. Subscribe, like, and comment. And remember, do not get triggered. Peace.
Bye-bye.